All right, so welcome back to the AM show. Time for us to go into the papers to just understand what the papers are reporting this morning. Now, I have with me the Daily Graphic. I have the Daily Guide newspaper. We have the Ghanaian Times, the Custodian, the Chronicle newspaper, the Finder. We have the Republic Press, and we'll go into them to understand what's happening. Our guest today is Professor Dr. Asa Sante, who has joined us to help us go through the issues and really appreciate what has been happening. Doc, good morning to you. I hope you're well.
Good morning. I am fine.
Great.
And yourself?
Well, once we are here, we can only thank God for bringing us here. So, yeah, we are good. Well, let's start off with the Daily Graphic. Now, it says some majority MPs want finance minister out and minority triggers vote of censure. So, all of that on the finance minister. Relatedly, banks, forex bureaus to check cedi depreciation and support government build resilient economy. Kwame PNM urges citizenry. But I would want us to start from the majority MPs who are calling for the finance minister to be fired. Now, the story says some members of the majority caucus in parliament have asked President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo to remove the Minister of Finance, Ken Ofori-Atta, and the Minister of State at the Ministry of Finance, Charles Edubuahin, from office to restore confidence in the economy. Numbering about 80, the group warned that it would not do business with the government if the president failed to act on their call. At a news conference in Parliament House yesterday, where 20 of the members were present, the Member of Parliament MP for Asante Akim North, Andy Appiah-Kubi, who spoke on behalf of the group, further stated that the majority would not participate in any government business, including the budget hearing, until their demand was met. Doc, what happened was quite something that we've never seen. What does this do for the citizenry who being, or the confidence of the citizens who have been calling for the finance minister to be removed since for some time now?
Yeah, if you look at what happened yesterday, it's very new as far as Ghanaian politics is concerned, but it gives us a lot of perspectives that we can reflect on. One, it sheds light on the fact that the economy is everything. So they expect that at all points in time, you need to build a solid economy so that people will have means of livelihood, and then everybody will be fine. And that is what they demonstrated. Not only that, they also know that one of the factors that influence voter choices in this country is the economy. So once you build a solid economy, you are likely to have, people making sure that when the times come for your mandate to be renewed, they can consider you and all that. Not only that, but it's also about the legacy of the party, the legacy of the party, that the party wants to be seen as being an entity that has brought development, that has done ABC, their records must be there, because without it, it's going to be difficult for them to campaign during the 2024 election. We can also look at it from this perspective that the MPs were also did that for their own survival, If you realize, in recent times, people have said a lot from their constituencies that the president must kick the finance minister and all that. So, as part of the functions of parliament, let us remember that the MPs they play a representation role. They represent the interests of their constituents and all that. So, in line with that, they want to articulate the views of their constituents to the executive. We have also seen from their action that they are calling for the president to remove the Minister of Finance, failure to which they will engage in censorship and all that. the censure, the vote of censure, actually brings to the fore the issue of the fact that all is not well, and it throws light on whether this country needs a parliamentary system of government, so that in matters of this nature, once you see that the government is not performing, then you are likely to trigger that process, which will lead to a vote of no confidence and eventual removal of the government from office, and then you call forward a fresh election. These things are things that the country will want to ponder about, and then decide that if the constitution needs to be amended to reflect that position, well, one day, who knows? So it is one of the things that has been brought to the fore through this action. It's also, the action also shed light on the fact that Parliament want to assert its authority more stronger than before. That, look here, we are the engine of democracy, and for which reason we want to make sure that whoever is running the executive office will listen to us, failure to which we are going to boycott activities of Parliament. You know that at this point in time, the government will not want to lose even one person, let alone 80 people who abstain from parliamentary business and all that. Once you do that, you are played into the hands of what the opposition, and then they build blocks on that, and then decide to launch attack on the government. So all in all, when you look at this, it has implication for the way government businesses run. It also has implication for sound, consensus building in Parliament. It also has implication for election 2024, and another implication is that it also tells you that all is not well, and that if the government doesn't put its foot down, it's going to hurt the party's chances of winning 2024 election and breaking the eight. So there are a whole lot of perspective that we can glean with regard to what the action of the 80 MPs in Parliament.
How does this also influence the perception by many that this sort of proves that the president is not able to take the right decisions at the right time, because calls for the finance minister to be removed has been on the table for quite some time now, and people feel that it shows that the president is not in charge. Does it fool that?
People may think that, but if you look at it, I would say he's in charge, except that there are problems within the party. There are problems. And that because if you listen to the MP for Subing and all that, they said they have discussed this. They have made sure they will use the internal structures and all that. And it didn't work. The last minute, they even brought the majority leader to convey their message to the president, and it never worked. It tells you that there is a basic problem of what? Institutional breakdown. Within political parties, institutions must work. What are the institutions? They are the norms, the rules, the regulations that regulate the conduct of people and make people able to function effectively in a democracy. This is actually breaking down within the NPP. And it is about time they lifted their game and righted the wrongs if they want to really build a solid political party that will have the courage to prosecute the 2024 agenda.
Well, people say this probably has destroyed their chances of indeed breaking the eight, and that they've lost the election from this one.
Well, the game is not over until the final whistle. All right, who knows that there will be a political John the Baptist who will come around and turn things around. They are looking for the one with a magic one to turn things around. And for me, as a student of politics, I will not, rush into making such conclusive statements. But let's wait and see. But as of now, the problem is that a lot of fundamentals are weak, and it has exposed the weaknesses of the party big time to the public.
Well, the party says that there should be calm. The national chairman of the party, Stephen Ntim, has urged all stakeholders to remain calm as party leadership engages government on the call for the removal of the finance minister. In a statement issued in Accra yesterday, Mr. Ntim stated that the party leadership had taken notice of the press conference held by some members of the majority caucus in parliament seeking the removal of the finance minister, Ken Ofori-Atta, and Minister of State at the Ministry of Finance, Charles Edubuahin, from office. It stated that the leadership of the party was seeking an amicable resolution of the impasse. And quote, the leadership of the party hearing reiterate its commitment to all times engage government on issues of utmost interest and concern to the party, government, and the citizenry. Is that what you envisaged from the party?
The party and the government has wasted a long time, especially the party. You are the backbone of the government, for which reason, if there is anything, any signal that you pick, you need to act and act very fast. Why have they wasted a long time? This speaks volume of the weaknesses of political communication within the party, all right? You need to be able to have intelligence. You need to be able to pick signals about the goings on within the party. And then you want to address them in no time. Once you leave them to fester, then you are likely to be confronted by such a situation. For me, they are coming very late, but well, better late than never. They should be able to Jojo, they should be able to assuage the pain of the people within the party, for them to lessen for the problem to be lessened. Otherwise, they are likely to have the second phase of it, where they want to move and then tie their apron string with the minority party to fire a vote of censure, and that will not bode well for the ruling government. I think also that the Mr. President need to be sober and then reflect on all these issues and listen, because yes, people have voted for you, but let us remember that power springs from the sovereign will of the people, and that if people advise you, people share ideas with you, people give you their mandate, you need to govern on their behalf, and that if you fail to do that, you are likely to have such a situation. I think the issue of tolerance is brought to the fore in this matter, that the president must be able to tolerate dissenting view, however painful they may be, and that in his bid to maintain this democracy, he need to be able to tolerate various shades of opinion. It doesn't matter how painful they may be, so that you guide your utterances, so that you do the needful, so that you consult with every stakeholder. Now look at it. I have said on your network time and again that the president and the government need to extend their hands to people who can really assist, get the stakeholders of this economy, this political system together and discuss the way forward. Now we want to do that at this very late time. But I think that, yes, Rome was never built in a day, and that once they have taken this lesson, it's going to help them to be able to address this problem head on.
I mean, you have a lot of understanding when it comes to politics. So looking at the time this call was made, and as of now that the president has not acted, the finance minister has also not acted in the way, what does it show? I mean, people were expecting that they would have had feedbacks now, but that hasn't happened.
Well, the earlier Mr. President does the needful, the better. Otherwise, you know what? The people are going to move to the second gear. The minority has threatened to pass a vote of censure, and that is a vote of no confidence. We are short of saying that MPs in Parliament now are not confident of their government, all right? It's simply because of the system of government that we are operating. If it had been a parliamentary system of government, a vote of no confidence, if it's triggered, you get people from majority supporting and kicking their own government out. It is very obvious from the utterances, from the position of the people who are leading this charge. So I think that Mr. President must act and act very fast if you want to save his legacy, if you want to save his party. The more he delays in this matter, the more worse it becomes. And then all manner of things can be thrown into the political space, and it can create problems. Issue of what demonstration, issue of what you will not even have the mind to reflect on issue in Parliament. And then anything you send to Parliament, you will not have the necessary numbers to handle them. And that cripples or undermines governance in the state.
All right. Now, let's move on to the Daily Guide and look at a story that is related to why this is happening, the economy. One of it is the free fall of the city. Now, the Daily Guide says banks, forest operators pledge to stem city fall. The leadership of universal banks in the country and the Association of Forest Bureau Operators have agreed to work in close collaboration to stem the rapid depreciation of the Ghana city. This comes on the heels of a high-profile meeting between the Bank of Ghana, leadership of universal banks, and Association of Forest Bureau Operators in Accra yesterday. Now, they have given some reasons for what's happening. The governor of Bank of Ghana, Dr. Ernest Kwame Yedu Addison, acknowledged there that though the global economic meltdown occasioned by the geopolitical tension between Russia and Ukraine has caused supply-demand imbalances in several commodity markets, high inflation, high cost of living, and high uncertainties in financial markets, the Bank of Ghana is poised to work with relevant stakeholders to stabilize the foreign exchange market and help contain the free fall. Now, he says, available data indicates that we started the year 6 cedis to the dollar. It got to 7 and we stayed at 7 in June, 7.6 in July, 8 in August, 9.6 in September, and now it is 12.5. But we are here again with people sending messages that the dollar CD rate is 15 cedis to a dollar. Clearly, this type of movement does not reflect changes in the fundamentals. It is clear that the market is not functioning properly. We are seeing speculations taking over under very disorderly market conditions, and it appears now that the black market is rather driving exchange rate. This we cannot allow to continue, he said. But how long has he come to the realization that this is the real issue and that needs to be tackled? Why this long delay?
I don't get it because even if all the factors he's talking about are true, what is the governor and what is the government doing about this? You've seen this. How can't you arrest this? That's your duty, for Christ's sake. They need to what? Up their game, all right? The issue of blame game must end if the government want to be serious. Why am I saying that? They have attributed all these problems to external shocks, i.e. Russian-Ukraine crisis. They've talked about COVID and all that. But recently, the World Bank has come out to say that no, that's not the case. It is more of what the problems that confront this country are things that, or what has brought us this far are things from what? Within, not outside. So what are they talking about? All right. The blame game must end. In governance, once you are given power, you have no excuse. You need to use all resources to make sure that you govern and govern extremely well. That is all. If you are not interested in listening to this, you will always come with one excuse or another, and that doesn't help anybody. I think that they must get their acts together and work very well. We have seen inflation figures even within the sub-region. Can you imagine Togo hovering around 9%? Can you imagine this in Nigeria around 20% and so forth and so on? What is it that our country is not doing right? That is the million-dollar question that they need to address, and address it now and stop, the blame game. The blame game will not do them anything. If you want to extend blame to other things, you must as well go to colonial rule that has brought us this far. But people have through all these things, and then they have shaped their destinies. All right, we all went through the problems of COVID. We are still grappling with that, and that it is not excuse for any government to want to explain or blame its inability to perform on these things. All countries experience this, and that they are also building around West Africa here. We are seeing Togo having single digit. We have seen Nigeria working very hard at their inflation figures and all that. Ghana must look sharp and then we must confront this situation head on.
Now, why do you think it takes that much time for leadership in this country to act when it matters most? Has there been any research into that for us to understand why leadership really delays in acting?
Sometimes it's the style of the person who's leading, Mr. President. People started complaining. Economic experts were pointing to the effect that we are likely to be confronted with. And then they began to proffer solution to the president. But Mr. President did not take these pieces of advice. No. And then now we are where we are. Instead of the president acting very fast, the president was praising his ministers that they have worked extremely well, that their performance is excellent. Is that the excellent performance that we are seeing in governance? All that we are saying that the least you can do for us that you govern and then you let us know the reality on the ground. All right, then people will appreciate, people will understand, and then people will help you with solution. But once you want to paint a certain picture, which is not the situation on the ground, you create a problem for everybody to understand you and then appreciate you and then want to come along with you. That is the quagmire that the government finds itself. That if they want to surmount this challenge, they need to govern with a clear sense of honest leadership, that you are able to tell us the situation on the ground. It can be painful, it can be uncomfortable, but hey, that is your duty. Remember that the people have the right to know. We need to know the goings on in our government because mandate was given to you by the people. Power springs from the sovereign will of the people. If you are not able to do that, when it comes for renewal of political contract, I'm afraid, whether you are in office or not, your party will be thrown out.
All right, now in the daily guide, there's this story, NIOP horns miners skills for global market, and it says coordinator for the National Alternative Employment and Livelihood Program, NIOP, for illegal miners, Dr. Louise Carol Sewa Donko, says her outfit is committed to providing mining-related skills to persons involved in illegal mining and preparing them for better jobs both home and abroad. According to her, this forms part of NIOP's effort at tackling the menace of illegal mining, which has had severe impact on the country's natural environment. Now, she reiterated that her outfit's main focus in providing the training was to enable the persons involved in illegal mining find sustainable jobs in large-scale mining companies. And I quote, when it comes to mining-related skills, for instance, there are those that we would want to teach how they can fabricate small tools to support agriculture as well as small tools to support mining. We also want to train people in skills where they can be integrated into large-scale mining companies, she stated. Look, we've all been talking about how to end small-scale mining. We are saying that we need to look at how we can help those who are engaged in it to move away from that so that it can help us sanitize the industry. How does this really motivate you or convince you that we are on the right path, that we are trying to train them how they can even use their skills in large-scale mining companies?
We have a lot of examples around to borrow from or to learn from. There are well-organized mining organizations around the globe and even in Ghana. Why can't you engage stakeholders, people who have knowledge in this, and share their perspective on it? We have a whole school dedicated to mining and its activities in Ghana. And this school survives on the taxpayers' money. Why are we not making the best use of that school? All right, we can do that. And once we put stakeholders together, I can assure you that they will come up with all manner of ideas that will help us to stem the tide. Today, we seem to be paying lip service to the problem. We have forgotten about its dire consequences. Consequences on agriculture in general, on food production, on our cash crops such as cocoa that European countries and other groups are threatened now, that they are likely to find cyanide in them and all that. They are going to, once they decide not to buy them, what are we going to use them for? Look at water bodies that we are polluting, all right, without any reference or recourse to law, all right? What is the government doing? in political science, we have what we call state capacity. And one of it is what? The regulatory capacity. The state must have the power to make laws and enforce them. We have all manner of good laws that are in the statute books. And what are we doing about them? Let us enforce them. Fear not, step on toes, and then attain what you want to attain. And that if it will serve the public interest, that is all that you need. You don't need to what? Pander to the whims and caprices of party apparatchiks and people who want to really serve their selfish interests. You don't need that. All that you need is what? To serve the public good. And that is exactly what we expect the government to do. The government must put its foot down and enforce the law rigidly without fear or favor. The government must also make sure that you involve stakeholders to give you the focus and direction that will help us to stem this tide. And then we as citizens of this country, we must know that we have no other land except this country, and that the earlier we save this country, the better for all of us, because the consequences are dire, and we will not be able to handle them when the time comes.
But this means that what NIOP is doing will require some funds. Would you still recommend that government probably channel more funds there? Because I'm told that they have been able to create more than 80,000 employment, including illegal miners, gained direct and indirect jobs under the NIOP initiative by government since it rolled out a year ago. They've given a breakdown of the sort of people they've employed. So does it mean that government should probably pump more money in there to ensure how this can be effective in helping curtail or reduce illegal mining?
At this time and point, every support that we need to marshal and give to people, why not? We need to do that because it has all manner of implications. If you look at even in that international relations, all right, we are polluting water in Ghana, and they have effect in neighboring such as Cote d'Ivoire and the rest. Are we prepared to destroy the relationship that exists between Ghana and Togo with regard to these things? All right, we are not ready for that. And the cost of handling that situation is more expensive than supporting small groups who want to do the needful and support the agenda of government in the fight against galamsey. Government must be very much active in this regard. And then we want to see government working very fast at addressing this problem. Otherwise, we the citizens must advise ourselves that come election, if you don't have a party that has a full-blown program in its manifesto, telling us how they're going to deal with galamsey, that party will not be given any political authority in this country. We need to work on that, and so that would drum into the ears of politicians that they cannot take this country for a ride. They owe the public a duty of support, a duty of care.
Relatedly, from the Ghanaian Times, on the back page, it says 87 guards pass out to protect country's river bodies. Now, 87 river guards trained to protect river bodies from illegal mining and other forms of pollution have passed out at a ceremony in Tema. The guards, including 3 females, underwent 1 month training at the Eastern Naval Command of the Ghana Navy. They were trained in swimming, water survival techniques, boat handling, incidents reporting, and intelligence gathering, among others, to equip them for the impending assignment. 5 of the guards were presented with various performance awards, including Joseph Kojo, who was named overall best trainee and best in boat handling. Best in swimming went to Bronya Kweku Jr. Gideon Christian Kwame was named best in drill. Best in leadership was Benjamin Nana Agri, while John Kobna was adjudged best in physical training. So this is good. We've trained 87 people to man our river bodies. The question then will become effective implementation of what they have to do and effective monitoring. How do we ensure that they will be doing exactly what they've been asked to do and not becoming agent to really even foster the mining on our river bodies?
We need to ensure that the rules of the game apply, all right? You are tasked to do a duty or two. If you fail, there are sanctions for you. So it tells you that we need people who monitor them. You need a system, a mechanism that monitors the whole process and then reward and punish accordingly. That's all. And that we also as a people want to be vigilant. After all, vigilance is the price of liberty, and see that they also they work within the framework of the law. That is all. Nothing more, nothing less.
Yeah, we may have good intentions in getting them out there, but sometimes they go out there and the thinking is, well, we also have to make money. I don't know how we can effectively monitor them to ensure that they will not, go against the reason why they've been put there. What do we need to do? Do we have to employ technology?
We cannot. Are we saying that we cannot put systems in place that will check the activities of those who have been taxed to monitor the system? We can. Otherwise, we must stop governing. All right. There is always a way out if we want to find that way out. All right. There are monitoring mechanisms. There are systems we can build to check these things so that everybody will fall in line. Why do you have supervisors? Why do you have monitoring teams? Why do you have systems and structures and all that? We need to think outside the box, create these things, and then begin to activate them, begin to trigger them so that they support us in this fight.
All right. Let's look at the Daily Dispatch. It says 200 mental health patients abandoned at psychiatric hospital. And it says that the Accra Psychiatric Hospital has 200 patients at the facility who have been abandoned by their relatives. A psychiatrist at the facility, Dr. Nana Adobia Brown, who made this known, said although some of them had recovered, they were still at the facility. And this is something that we do here all the time. How do we tackle this? That people are brought to the psychiatric facility and they are abandoned there by the family. No one seems to care for them. How do we deal with this?
One is that we need constant education on this matter. The fact that somebody is disturbed mentally or has a challenge doesn't mean he's out of society. No. We can help that person to gain his or her health and be reintegrated into the society. That orientation, we are far from that. We need to walk the talk by educating, by informing, and then making sure that people internalize these things, and then that will save people in such a difficult situation. Two, we also need to make sure that the social welfare system works, and it works very well. And that is able to address some of these lingering challenges. We need the social welfare to work and work effectively. That means that they need resources, they need support, logistics, in order to discharge their duties, not only effectively, but most efficiently. And above all, we also need to make sure that the family system works so that the little things that trigger this thing, that cause these problems, we are able to nip them in the bud at the level of families, all right? As agencies of socialization, where people grow, develop, become the best of themselves and all that. We need to be able to ensure that there is a firm structure within the family level, and that we are each, we are our neighbors or our family members, we are their support system. We provide support for them. We get closer to them. We want to learn their problems from first hand. And then we want to be part and parcel of the problem in order to help them deal with the problem. Once we go on that route, I'm sure that at the end of the day, we should be able to surmount these challenges. It is not beyond us. We are capable of handling it and handling it well.
All right. Now, let's do the Republic Press as our final paper for this morning. Now, pressure group Occupy Ghana has called on President Akufo-Addo to cut down the number of ministers and run what they call a lean and mean government in order to fix the current economic hardship in the country. In a press statement released on Tuesday, October 24, the group said the hard times Ghanaians are going through was enough evidence that, and I quote, there is no better time than now to reduce the size of government. Look, this has been caused for a very long time.
Oh, this is something that people have said time and again, and the government will not listen to this, because you don't need extremely bigger government to deliver. No. All that you need are people who have the track record, who are competent, and who can deliver on the president's mission. That's all. You don't need the size of a very big government in order to deliver. No. Otherwise, can you imagine what the situation will be in China a population of about 1 billion, how many ministers would they need? All right, no, a few. Look at a rich country like what, Britain. It has less than 130 ministers. Look at Nigeria, around 40, 44, 45 thereabout. Look at US, very small. You need the right people for the right jobs. That's all. Because what is governance? It's nothing but what? The effective use of what? Resources. That's all. But on a part of the world, you can understand why it is so. It's a job for the boys. And you create such joys at the expense of what? The society. That is not fair. That is not governance. That is abuse of what? Public power. And that has its implications on elections. People are worried now, especially if you listen to the 80 people who have come out in their numbers against some of the actions of government. One of their concerns, if you listen to them carefully, is the issue of what? That there are some people within the party who have what it takes to help to address this problem head on, but they've been silent, and that they say they have the men, and that they want the president to kick his family member from the government so that they can really bring in those who have what it takes to support the government. It brings to the fore the issue of what Aristotle said, that if you are looking at a government which is effective, you must answer two questions: who rules and in whose interest? The government must understand that they are ruling in the interest of what? The people, for which reason they should have what? A government that is open, that is large, that brings everybody on board. They have been saying that they need all their men on board and that they can surmount this problem. And I think I share that view. Why am I saying that? We saw in this country when President Kufuor was in office, difficult time, but he mounted the challenges, and then they put CD to dollar. I have said, and I'll repeat here one more time, that where are the Kufuor boys who put CD to dollar? Where are they? If we are serious and we want to fix this problem, we will look for them. There are other scholars who have studied finance, economics, and all that. They are here. Are we ready to go for them and make the best use of them? What is so painful is that some of them draw their salary on government payroll. They work at the universities and all that, and we have abandoned them. Why can't we use them? Let us use the resources God has given us and then make this country a great country once and for all.
Dr. Kwame Asante, I'm grateful to you that you could find time to join us this morning. So grateful.
I am also grateful.
All right, then. So that's it for the news review. Grateful that you could join us on this segment. We'll take a quick break. When we return, we have sports for you here on the AM show. Stay with us.